welcome back to Central News. Now, believe it or not, long-tailed bats live closer to home than you may think. And some people are out there trying to protect these bats, but it's all part of Project Echo. And joining me today is Ben and Darren to tell me a little bit more about this project. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you.
Now, Ben, I know it was quite surprising for me to find out that these bats are actually living in Hamilton City.
Yes, we're one of the lucky few cities in New Zealand to actually have a population of long-tailed bats actually in our city, and that's something pretty special to Hamiltonians, so I think that's something that we really want to protect.
Why? Why protect it? Why do you want to sort of increase the population or to protect this population?
Well, to increase the population we really just need to protect the habitat, because the habitat destruction is probably one of the main threats to these long-tailed bats. And by protecting this habitat, by just making people aware of where they live and in their city, so that we can find out and do some more research on these little cryptic creatures. And
just find out a little bit more about them. What do you know about them, Darren? I mean, what is it all about?
Well, as Ben said, they definitely are a difficult to study animal. You know, they're cryptic, they're threatened, their numbers, their population sizes tend to be small, so they form little groups of between tens to hundreds. And because they're nocturnal, you know, they fly at night, they're so small, they're only about 8 to 14 grams in size. It's really hard to get a handle on their numbers and what they're doing, you know, and how they use their habitats. So the more we can find out, the better we can protect them, you know, the more we can focus our research efforts and try and maintain the habitats that they use. So that's quite important here. And what I mean, they're aerial insectivores, so what they rely on is high-frequency echolocation calls to track insect prey which they feed on.
Yeah. Are these creatures something that we need in Hamilton, though? I mean, they seem like lovely little creatures and you know, something that could be quite interesting to study, but do they help the environment? Are they quite important?
They're absolutely critical to an urban biodiversity ecosystem. As everything within an ecosystem, it's all linked, and these are important to, as insectivores, they're just part of the natural New Zealand landscape, the way it used to be, but within a city which is relatively scarce for biodiversity, it's really good that we have these bats, which is important for why we need to save them.
So how would people know if they had bats on their property?
Well, these bats, they use high-frequency echolocation pulses, so it's just sounds that they emit from their mouth, and these bounce off objects in their environment. But the sounds are high, so we can't hear them. The human frequency range extends up to about 20 kilohertz. The long-tailed bats echolocate at about 40 kilohertz. And I use detectors which convert the high-frequency sounds of the bats into an audible sound. So I just set this at about 40 kilohertz and it will convert those sounds. An automated way to do that is just this bigger detector, which you can leave out in the field. So it doesn't require operator effort like this. But these handheld detectors are available for people to use, as I understand, Ben, from the Riverlea community group. So if people do want to go out and see if there are bats in their gully or in their backyard, they can use these free of charge. It will just require them to go and set it to the right frequency and listen out for the bats.
Yeah, and then tell you guys about it. That's the main purpose, isn't it? You need to know where these bats are.
That's right, that's right. So if people think they've got bats on their property, they can contact us through our Environment Waikato website or call us on 0800 800 401 and just give us a call and we can get these bat detectors out to them and they can go around. I mean, it's a good thing for the kids to do as well, out in the garden at night, checking if you've got bats out there, and then let us know, and that's when we can work with the University of Waikato and Hamilton City Council as a sort of multi-agency approach.
Yeah. Getting the kids out there, I mean, is that a good idea? I mean, are bats scary? I mean, are they dangerous creatures?
Absolutely not. I mean, there's such a negative public perception about bats. You know, they're negatively associated with things like tombs and Dracula and blood-sucking vampires and those sort of things, but they're actually nothing to be afraid of. They're not scaly reptiles that will fly into your hair or come and drink your blood. In fact, they are really one of the cutest, most gentle creatures you'll ever be lucky enough to encounter. Yeah.
So if you've got them on your property, make sure you find out and let you guys know. Project Echo, how long is it going to go for?
Well, it really just depends on where these bats are being found in the city. We think that there could be bats throughout the whole city, but we just don't know enough information at the moment. So it's all to do with research at the moment and protecting their habitat so that we can keep these bats in our city.
Awesome. Ben and Darren, thank you so much for joining me today.
No problem.
Ben and Darren, they're taking a look at Project Echo. Of course, if you want to find out if you've got bats on your property, you can get one of these devices, and then you just jump on the Environment Waikato website, which is ew.govt.nz/Project Echo.